Wahoo, hey, we're going to talk about tires today. Tires, people are asking me all about tires. Hey John, what tires should I ride on? You know, it's not as easy a question as you might think. There's a lot of stuff about what tires you're going to want to ride on that has to do with what kind of terrain are you going to be riding on, how much do you weigh, what's your experience like. So first, let's talk about what tires do. In 1898, some guy invented the pneumatic tires. Before we had pneumatic tires, we had a chunk of rubber hooked onto a rim of steel. And before we had the chunk of rubber, a fairly thick chunk of rubber, we actually had a tube of steel making the wheel with just rubber coated on that tube of steel. And then they invented the pneumatic tire, which is a tire with air in it. And yeah, obviously the first reason why the pneumatic tire is a better thing is because it cushions the ride. But how does it cushion the ride? It cushions the ride by deforming. That's what it does. It changes its shape. As you go over a bump, it squeezes in a little bit, the bump pushes in, but it doesn't bounce that much because it's deforming as you go. And this is really key because it's the deforming of the tire that makes you not fall down when you go around a corner. You got a tire that's shaped on the road like a little U shape. The rim's up here and this is the ground and it's shaped like a U. And when you lean your bike over to around a corner, it doesn't stay in that same round shape. It deforms a little bit. And it deforms a little bit so that more of the rubber of that tire is sticking to the ground. So that's what a tire is supposed to do. And the fact that it deforms does a whole lot of things. When it deforms when you're going in a straight line, it takes vibration away. Road vibration will make you as a rider very tired. And so having a tire that has air pressure in it that is high enough to have low rolling resistance, but low enough to be able to deform to the characteristics of the road is really, really important. And to deform in the characteristics of the corner is really important. So once you know all that kind of stuff, knowing how much you weigh is an important characteristic. Like, for instance, Continental tires, it's a brand of tire made in Germany, but they're known in the industry for having a fairly stiff sidewall. Now, I weigh about 180 pounds, and that's kind of heavy for a bicycle racer type guy, but not kind of heavy in the spectrum of the whole population. So a stiff sidewall for a guy who's 180 pounds is actually really beneficial because the tire doesn't deform too much. But lightweight guys will sometimes ride on a tire like the Continental tire and say, wow, this tire feels like I'm riding a brick. I don't like it. It doesn't feel supple. They'll use that word, supple. To me, it feels supple. And I get on the tire that some of the lightweight guys, a 140-pound person likes, like the really high thread count Vittoria tires are really known for being supple, and there's some others as well that are known for that way. And the really lightweight riders ride on those and say, oh, I love the way these feel in the corner. They like the way it feels in the corner because as they turn the corner, the supple tire is able to deform for their body weight. But I don't like the way that tire feels in the corner because it deforms too much. So I end up having to put way too much tire pressure in it. So now it doesn't have the benefits of being a pneumatic tire because there's so much tire pressure, it shakes me up, right? So I don't like that tire because of my size. There are some compromise tires. The tire I'm riding on one of my road bikes right now, I've been testing it this last year, is the Schwalbe 1. And Schwalbe made this tire specifically to try and compete with the Continental 4000. And I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. I'm liking it anyway. It feels more supple than the Continental tire to me. I like the way it handles in the corner, yet it handles the fact that I'm not a 140-pound rider. I'm a 180-pound rider, and it does that well. So it's like the compromise between the really, really supple tire and the less supple tire, and I'm really liking it. So that's kind of your first thing you need to know about tires, and that's a shorty. I'm going to go over more stuff later on tires another time with more detail of different types of tires. So keep this one in mind. We'll come back later and we'll do another one.